You know, we always hear about these psychologists talking about who they think is crazy or deranged or psychotic or bipolar, schizophrenic, all this bullcrap in the psychology world, right? But the psychology world is run by an elite group of representatives from the secret society. And we all know what I'm talking about. What I really want to talk about is this. So if I tell somebody I have a secret friend, an imaginary friend that talks to me, if I tell somebody that, they go, "You're crazy." But if I tell somebody, "Oh, I believe in God and God talks to me sometimes," they call me religious. Give me a break. Let's just get something straight here on that issue. Because really, the time has come for us to live in a modern time. And that means words like God, Dios, Allah, Buddha, whatever word you want to use that represents this supreme creator and the Bible and all that stuff. Bull crap. Those words were used to kill a lot of people and destroy countries and civilizations and societies in the last 2,000 years and more. Let's just get that one straight right off the bat. So what is it? There's a universal energy. Let's use a modern word. We live in modern times, so let's just call it a universal energy. There's not some guy up in heaven with a gray beard or whatever, looking down on us and creating apparitions of the Virgin in different parts of the world and all this bullcrap. It's not even possible. Sorry. That is crazier than any other thing in the whole world, actually, because it's been going on for like 2,000 years. And everybody who says those words are actually the psychotic, bipolar, schizophrenic a-holes that we need to avoid. Seriously. Let's just call it like what it is. It's universal energy. We can determine, we cannot guarantee, we cannot verify that there is some guy up in some heaven place, that's looking down on us. That's just bullcrap. He's taking a shit in his bathroom and he needs a golden plunger to when his toilet clogs or whatever. Give me a break, you know. We're needing to really rethink all of this because when we validate this delusional part of our society that thinks that, oh, God exists and if you don't believe in God the way I do, you're going to hell and all this, that is just bullcrap. Okay, we might as well just get rid of those notions because those words have been killing words for a long time, and that psychology validates that. I bet if you ask like half the psychologists in the world, they'll tell you, "Oh yeah, I believe in God." Really? Why? You're crazy then, because you're like the person who says they have an imaginary friend that talks to them. I mean, seriously, this is just this has got to come to an end because it's hurt the world way more than it's helped the world. And like I said, there's no way to verify the existence of God. And don't tell me that crap. Oh, just have faith. Whatever. The Bible was written by a bunch of men who were liars and cheats. I went to a Catholic university. I had to read the Bible 3 times. And I had to talk to priests about what part was written at what time and whether or not to believe in that part or not. I mean, that's just baloney. The Bible, if anything, is just a book that teaches how to, or it tries to teach about how to be a good human being, whatever that means, for whatever that's worth. But other than that, don't tell me, oh, you just have to have faith and believe. Bullcrap. Yeah, you just have to have faith and believe that I got an imaginary friend. I mean, give me a break. And to think that we're going to let people like that rule our country and rule the world, please give me a break. You know, like if you had been able to show me, that God's up there in his toilet taking a shit, reading the newspaper, and was we're created in his image, right? So when his toilet clogs, he's got to have a couple angels come in and plunge his toilet for him with a golden plunger. I mean, come on. I mean, you know, I don't care what country, what creed, what faith you think you are. Just drop it all. The only thing that we can confirm amongst all of us, the only thing that we can confirm is that there's an energy amongst everything, whether it's a tree, a dog, a human being, whatever. There's energy all around us. That's it. We cannot say, oh, there's trumpeting angels up in heaven and there's a devil down below in hell and all this stuff. I mean, give me a break. In fact, okay, I got a special pass to go into the stacks of Harvard in 1990, many years ago. I got that special pass as a guest, as a visitor. I was not a visiting professor. I was never a student at Harvard. But I got that special pass because I guess you could call me a special person. And what I did with that special pass is I went into the stacks of the oldest books. And I verified something very important that everybody needs to know. I couldn't find a single reference really about Jesus. You know, there's historians that existed at that time, just like there are historians today, who were writing the history of the time. So if Jesus had really happened and there was this guy named Jesus who created these miracles like the Christians say, then there would have been oodles and oodles of stories written about him in all kinds of different history books. But I couldn't find a single author that mentioned Jesus. I'll correct myself. There were 3 instances, I think, if I remember correctly, where a guy named Jesus was mentioned, but it wasn't Jesus exactly. It was this reference to this movement called the Christ or whatever, and these people getting crucified by the Romans and all this and that and the other thing. There was never a specific reference to one single person called the Christ or Jesus. But you'd think if there was this guy who's creating miracles and feeding 3,000, 5,000 people with a little basket of fish, and, you know, raising people from the dead and all this and that and the other thing, you'd think that there would have been oodles and oodles of history written about it, not just in the Bible, but everywhere else. Roman and Greek scholars and historians would have been writing about it all over the place because they'd all want to know how do I do that too? I'm not saying that that can't happen. I'm not saying that those tricks, those kinds of reality snafus can't happen. I've had them happen to me. But I'm not going around saying that I'm a saint or I think I'm the Christ or a representative of God and all this and that and the other thing. I just have a particular energy. We all have energy. That's the only thing we can verify. And something about my energy allowed me to do a bunch of things in my life. You think now everybody should just call me those things and write another Bible? I mean, come on, give me a break. That's not what it's all about. There is only what we can verify. Other than that, you start talking about God, it's just like talking about an imaginary friend you got, and the fucking paddy wagon should come and take you away, to the funny farm, because you're talking shit. You're psychotic, bipolar, schizophrenic, delusional. Straight up. I mean, if we're gonna follow what psychology says, that's what all these Christians are. That's what all these Hebrews are. That's what all these Arabs are. That's what even the Buddha. Okay, not even the Buddha. What I'm going to talk about the Buddha is this. Buddhism talks about how there is no God. Buddhism talks about how there is just energy. So, and Taoism, there's no reference to the supreme being and with the long white beard and in these white robes and with this cane or whatever, looking down on us and creating miracles for us when we need it. That's not it. That's not even close. So I think modern man needs to wake up and smell the coffee on this one and get rid of these ideas. So much resources has been wasted in the world on upholding these ideas for thousands of years. So many people have died. So many people have had their wealth and their homes destroyed because they just didn't believe in God the right way. Give me a break. We got to end that crap. We live in a modern time. I wish at some point the aliens would expose themselves and say, hey, you know what? You got this all wrong, and this is what's really going on, and you guys are superstitious. You have a superstition about there's life after death and you're going to heaven and hell and all this stuff. Maybe your essence goes somewhere because it's energy, your energy, but not these notions, these antiquated notions, it's time to get rid of them. Anyway, I just thought I'd rant about that for a second because I'm really tired of all these supposed Christians going around using religion to promote themselves as the good guy, and then all of a sudden, sneakily behind your back, they fuck you over. I don't know how many times that's happened to me in my life, where people who are Christians or people who presented themselves as good people because I'm religious in general, and then all they do is ask you for money, or they ask you for this or that or that thing, or if you don't believe the way they do, they want to fuck you over. And I had this happen. I had this woman in the 90s try and ruin my business. She actually went to some of my contacts and told them, "Oh yeah, don't send his checks to his business. He's kind of crazy. He doesn't believe in God or whatever. Send the checks to my house. I'm an associate of his, and I'll make sure everything's okay." So for like a couple months, I'm at my business. I'm like, why haven't my clients paid me? And I call them and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they said, "Oh, Debbie Morgan uh, said that she was taking over the financial part of your business because you were, needing help." I'm like, "What? That's crazy. Cancel those checks," I said, "because Debbie doesn't work for me anymore. You need to reissue those checks to my business because she does not have the authority to do that." So right after I had spoken with one of my clients, a lady named Mary Brown at the Hillsborough General Hospital in Oregon, I went to Debbie Morgan's house. And I was like, "What's going on, Debbie? Why are you doing? What's your problem?" She goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you came. We were waiting for you to come to our house finally." I'm like, "Really? Why?" "Here, me and Jeff want to show you something." And I'm like, "What?" And she took me down to her basement where she and her jerk ass, fucked up religious husband had fixed up a room for me with a little cot. And they said, "We're waiting for you to come to help you. And we want you to come and live here with us and sleep in this room, in this cot, and we'll help you find God and this and that and the other thing because you're really in need of help." I'm like, "Debbie, you're fired. Where are the checks from my business? You'll be lucky if I don't call the police and have you prosecuted." "Oh, man." So she gave me the checks that were then invalid at that point, and I had to wait for the new ones to come. And I walked out of her house and never saw her again. But I'll tell you what, just like everybody else who tried to fuck me over in my life, what happened to Debbie Morgan. I don't know if she's still with her husband or not, but the last time I checked in on her about a decade ago, just out of curiosity, I Googled her and found out she was mopping rich people's floors just outside of Dallas, Texas. Boy, that's a far cry from what she was doing with me, which she could have been a very, very famous, very powerful, rich interpreter. But instead, she tried to screw me over, and the process, her karma, the energy, the universal energy, kicked her in the ass and sent her to Texas to clean other people's floors and toilets. So, yeah, that's just one example of a religious person trying to screw me over. I mean, I have stories like that. That's why I'm just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. I wear a cross, right? You know why? Not because I'm Christian, but to protect me from the Christians. Think about that one for a minute. Okay? Very, very deep. Anyway, Leopold Richard Bamberger Alavizo is reporting to you on the psychotic religious people in the world who have an imaginary friend in Jesus.